You know, when you think of an ancient temple, there is a very specific image that comes to mind for most of us.
Right, yeah.
You picture, like, the heavy scent of incense in the air, the echoing sound of brass bells, and just this profound sense of inner peace.
Definitely.
And above all, you picture this intense, unshakable faith. You definitely don't picture, I don't know, a high-stakes Hollywood-style heist.
No, you really don't. I mean, as humans, we have this tendency to neatly separate the spiritual
Mm,
from the material.
yeah,
We think of these places as existing on, like, a higher plane entirely. But the reality is that temples in India, they aren't just spiritual centers.
right.
For centuries, they've also functioned as repositories of immense, almost unimaginable physical wealth. I mean, vaults of gold, silver, priceless antiquities.
Yeah, just sitting there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the hard truth of human history is that wherever you stockpile unimaginable treasure, human greed inevitably finds a way in.
Okay, let's unpack this because today's deep dive is pulling from a really fascinating stack of sources that look at five of India's most famous temples.
Yeah, it's quite a list.
And our mission today for you listening is to explore this crazy dual narrative. Because on one hand, you have these deep, incredibly rich mythological origins that draw millions of devotees every single year.
Right.
And then on the other hand, you have the cold, calculating, and sometimes brutally modern reality of how the wealth inside them was just, well, siphoned away.
The contrast is completely jarring. And what the sources reveal isn't just one single type of crime. You know,
Right. It's not just one guy.
no, we aren't talking about a pickpocket in a crowded courtyard.
Yeah.
We're looking at everything from heavily coordinated corporate-level supply chain scams to violent smash and grabs in the dead of winter, right up to, like, international art smuggling syndicates.
It's wild. It really is. So let's start high up in the north, at the shrine of Vaishno Devi.
Okay, yeah.
Because you really can't grasp the audacity of this first heist without understanding the sheer divine power this specific shrine represents in the sources.
Absolutely.
In the lore, Vaishno Devi wasn't just any deity, right? Her origin is rooted in the combined ultimate power of three major goddesses.
Right. She is described as a manifestation of Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati.
Wow.
So that represents power, wealth, and wisdom all combined. And the mythology states she actually took human birth as a girl in the home of a man named Ratnakar.
Right, driven by this deep spiritual purpose.
Exactly. And during her time on Earth, the sources note she even encounters Lord Rama during his famous period of exile.
And her story, it culminates in this really epic confrontation. She is pursued by this powerful figure, Mahunaneth,
Yeah,
and she eventually beheads him, but in this, it's like this ultimate act of divine grace, She grants him a boon.
right. Even after all that.
Yeah. She decrees that devotees who make the arduous trek to visit her shrine, they actually must also visit his shrine afterward to complete their pilgrimage.
It's a foundational story built entirely on devotion, asceticism, and divine justice.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating here is how a shrine built on that exact foundation of devotion and justice became the site of a staggering 500 crore rupee scam.
God, 500 crore.
Yeah, to put that in perspective, we are talking about roughly 60 million US dollars.
That is just, it's unbelievable.
And it didn't happen in the shadows of the night either. It happened right out in the open, buried within modern administrative processes.
See, the logistics of this are what really blow my mind. So you have devotees traveling from all over the world donating silver, right?
Right.
Rings, coins, family heirlooms, all out of pure, unfiltered faith. And the Shrine Board collects this, and over time, they amass 20 tons of donated silver.
20 tons. Just picture that.
So they load it all up and they send it to a government mint. And the stated goal is perfectly logical. They want to melt it down and convert it into pure silver bars for safe storage in government bank vaults.
Exactly. It's a standard, very prudent administrative procedure to secure an ancient temple's modern wealth.
Right. Until the mint calls the trust back in absolute shock.
Yeah, this is the crazy part.
The trust officials, they rush over, and the mint operators basically tell them, we cannot put this in the furnace. If we heat this up, it's going to release highly toxic gases that could literally kill everyone in this facility.
Yeah.
It turns out of the 20 tons of quote-unquote silver sent over, the vast majority was actually just cheap iron and highly toxic cadmium.
And it was just covered with a microscopic coating of actual silver.
Right. Now, think about the mechanics required to pull that off. You don't just swap 20 tons of metal by slipping it into your pocket.
No, absolutely not. That requires an entire shadow supply chain.
Yeah, that's what I keep getting stuck on. This isn't like finding out the piggy bank on your dresser has chocolate coins instead of pennies, you know?
Right.
This is like a classic organized crime diversion. It's like mobsters intercepting a convoy of liquor trucks on the highway, draining the barrels, refilling them with water, and resealing them before they hit the warehouse.
Thanks.
Someone had to source 20 tons of iron and cadmium, secretly coat it, and physically swap the massive crates before they reached the mince furnaces.
Which points to a highly coordinated inside job. You know, usually when the public talks about temple corruption, the blame falls on a local priest, maybe skimming a few notes from a collection plate.
Right, like small-scale stuff.
Yeah, but a 500 crore scam involving metallurgy and heavy logistics. That requires corporate-level coordination, falsified inventory logs, and deep inside access.
Wow.
It proves that the greatest vulnerability of these ancient shrines often lies within their own complex bureaucratic structures.
Which makes me wonder about the physical structures themselves, because, I mean, it took a massive logistical chain to fake that silver in the north, but sometimes the betrayal happens right on the physical body of the temple.
Yes.
Let's head south to Kerala, down to the Sabarimala Ayyappa temple. And again, the lore here is a massive epic in itself.
Oh, definitely. Sabarimala is dedicated to Lord Ayyappa, who is also known as Manikandan. The mythological texts in our sources describe his birth as arising from the union of Lord Shiva and Mohini.
And Mohini is the female avatar of Lord Vishnu, right?
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So from the very beginning, you have this incredibly powerful, unified divine lineage.
And his earthly story is pure fantasy epic. He's found abandoned by a riverbank by the childless king of Pandalam.
Right.
The king adopts him, but as Ayyappa grows, the queen gets fiercely jealous. She wants her own biological son to take the throne instead.
Naturally.
So she fakes this terrible, incurable headache and pays off her doctors to claim the only cure is the milk of a lactating tigress.
Which is basically a death sentence.
Exactly. She sends young Ayyappa into the deep, dangerous forest, just fully assuming he'll be torn apart.
But instead, he returns to the palace riding a massive tigress.
Just casually riding a tigress.
Yeah, and accompanied by an entire streak of tigers from the forest. It's this undeniable demonstration of his divinity.
Wow.
And the sources also highlight a very unique historical aspect of Sabarimala, which is the presence of Vavar.
Right, Vavar. He was a Muslim warrior who encountered Ayyappa, fought him, and then eventually became his close associate and ardent devotee.
Yeah.
There's a shrine dedicated to him right there at Sabarimala, which stands as this really beautiful, centuries-old testament to communal harmony.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the culture of Sabarimala is defined by strict ethical vows.
Mm.
Like, devotees undergo a grueling 41-day period of penance.
Right.
They fast, they walk barefoot, they sleep on the floor. I mean, they live a strict ascetic lifestyle just to prepare their minds and bodies for the pilgrimage.
Okay, wait, I have to interrupt here.
Oh, sure.
Because this is the part I'm trying to reconcile based on the sources. The devotees are putting themselves through this brutal 41-day physical and mental penance just for the privilege of visiting.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the people managing the temple are actively skimming off the top.
That is the exact bitter irony the source is present here. Between 2019 and 2024, a massive gold-plating scam occurred right at the holiest point of the temple. So the temple board had decided to repair the golden doors of the sacred inner sanctum. And they hired a contractor named Unikrishnan Padi to handle the delicate metallurgy.
So this guy is physically working on the door to the gods.
Yes, he literally is. And instead of repairing it faithfully, Padi and certain board officials allegedly conspired to siphon off the wealth.
Unbelievable.
The mechanics of this are quite brazen. When you replate something, you have to melt down the existing gold, refine it, and then reapply it.
Okay.
During that process, they systematically replaced 8.48 kilograms of the pure gold with copper and other cheap alloys.
But how does no one notice the door is literally made of copper now? Like, how does that fly?
Well, because it was the sanctum doors. It's a place of ultimate reverence. Very few people are allowed to approach it closely, let alone inspect the metallurgical purity of the metal.
Oh, I see.
The crime hid behind a veil of religious respect. It went unnoticed for years, only uncovered recently by a special commissioner appointed by the High Court, who actually audited the materials. It perfectly illustrates how, in a place strictly defined by the shedding of material desires, the administrators fell prey to basic human greed.
It's just crazy that bureaucracies move so slowly that a fake door can sit there for half a decade.
Yeah.
But sometimes temple wealth doesn't vanish slowly through administrative loopholes. Sometimes it vanishes in minutes.
Very true.
Which brings us to Varanasi and the Kashi Vishwanath temple.
Now, to understand the weight of Kashi Vishwanath, you really have to understand its immense historical and mythological footprint.
Right.
It marks the site of a cosmic argument between the creator Brahma and the preserver Vishnu over who was supreme. And to settle it, Lord Shiva appeared as an endless, limitless pillar of light, a Jyotirlinga.
Piercing through the three worlds.
Exactly, proving his ultimate supremacy.
And if you look at the historical timeline in the sources, this specific physical site has been through an incredible amount of turbulence.
Oh, absolutely.
The records show the temple was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times over the centuries. It was attacked by Qutb al-Din Aibak in the 12th century, and later by the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb,
Right?
who actually ordered its destruction and built the Ganvapi Mosque on the site. Then, the temple we know today was later rebuilt adjacent to that mosque by the Maratha ruler Ahilyabai Holkar in the 18th century.
A lot of layers of history there.
Yeah, and after that, Maharaja Ranjit Singh donated massive amounts of gold to plate its domes.
So it is a site characterized by constant survival, and it holds immense historical and political sensitivity today.
Yeah. And here's where it gets really interesting. Let's fast forward to January 1983.
Right.
It's the dead of winter in Varanasi. It's one of those freezing nights with a fog so thick the visibility is effectively zero.
Right, just total whiteout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Inside the temple, two priests are on duty, but the bitter cold gets to them and they fall asleep. Under the cover of this blinding fog, thieves manage to break through the heavy exterior doors. They navigate straight into the inner sanctum, take out their tools, and chisel 10 kilograms of solid gold right off the sacred Shivalinga itself.
I mean, that is a direct physical strike at the heart of the temple. But the analysis of this event in our sources, it actually focuses on the aftermath.
Right, because the consequences were monumental.
Exactly. This wasn't just about recovering 10 kilos of gold. This specific theft was the catalyst for a massive political shift in the state of Uttar Pradesh.
Because if you're a politician, a massive public outcry over stolen gold is the perfect leverage, isn't it?
Precisely. The state government, under Chief Minister Sripati Mishra, used the sheer shock of the theft as justification to pass a sweeping new ordinance.
Okay.
See, for centuries, the Kashi Vishwanath temple had been managed by traditional hereditary Mahants families who basically passed down the responsibility of care generation after generation.
Like Dr. Rajendra Tiwari's family.
Yes, his family was one of the most prominent.
But the government argued, look, someone just chiseled gold off the deity while your guys were sleeping. You clearly can't protect this place anymore.
Exactly. So the ordinance stripped those hereditary families of their ancestral control and handed the entire management over to a state-appointed trust.
Wow.
The thieves didn't just take gold, they inadvertently handed over the keys to one of India's most important religious sites to the government.
So a single foggy night smash and grab forever changed the governance of a millennia-old institution.
It did. But, moving to state control is often presented as the ultimate fix for security.
Right. The government takes over, problem solved.
Exactly. But that leads us to our fourth site, which proves that state control doesn't eliminate theft. It really just changes the resume of the thief.
Yeah, let's look at the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya.
Okay.
Now, the sources provide a very detailed historical timeline here, which we'll just map out impartially. In December 1949, Ram Lala idols mysteriously appeared inside the structure.
Right, and that was an event formally recorded by constables Madha Prasad and Hans Raj.
Yeah. And then, decades later, in 1986, Judge K.M. Pandey ordered the locks to be opened for Hindu worshippers. This was followed by the 1990 Rath Yatra, led by L.K. Advani, which heavily galvanized the political movement.
Yeah.
Then in 1992, the Babri Masjid was demolished by crowds. And finally, following a Supreme Court verdict, the massive new Ram Mandir was consecrated in January 2024.
So that timeline establishes the sheer scale of attention on this site. Socially, legally, politically, it is completely unparalleled.
Absolutely.
So by 2025, as the state was preparing for the Kumbh Mela, which is a massive religious gathering that draws millions of pilgrims, Ayodhya was arguably one of the most heavily guarded, technologically monitored, and highly scrutinized square miles on Earth.
Which is exactly why this next heist is so baffling. With all that technology, the layered security protocols, the high-definition CCTV cameras everywhere, how does someone just walk away with bags of cash?
Because the thief wasn't an outsider trying to bypass the security system, he was the system.
Right.
The sources highlight that the vulnerability wasn't physical, it was procedural.
Enter Lovecush Mishra. He wasn't some cat burglar dropping in from the ceiling on a wire. He was a bank official.
Right.
He was literally the man assigned by the State Bank of India to oversee the daily counting of the donations in the temple's Pranami Baksha, the massive donation boxes.
Now, the mechanics of counting temple donations are chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You have dozens of people sitting in a room sorting mountains of small bills and coins.
Yeah, just huge piles of cash everywhere.
And Mishra used his position of ultimate trust to exploit the room. He knew exactly where the CCTV cameras were pointing, and more importantly, he knew the blind spots.
So if you're the guy writing the security protocols, you just make sure the camera points at the table, but maybe not at your lap or, your briefcase.
Exactly. And day after day, month after month, he used those blind spots to slip bundles of cash into his own pockets and bags. It was a slow, systematic drain.
And it wasn't until police finally got suspicious and raided his home that they recovered 58 lakh rupees in stolen donation money, just sitting there.
Unbelievable.
For context, that's roughly 70,000 US dollars, which is an astronomical sum in local currency to just have stuffed in your house.
It really is. And this raises an important point about our blind reliance on modern security.
Yeah.
You can build a technological fortress, but no matter how many high-definition cameras are rolling, systems are only as secure as the human beings operating them.
Right.
The real blind spot wasn't in the camera's lens. It was in the unquestioned trust placed in a guy wearing a suit.
That is a chilling point. I mean, you can build the thickest vault in the world, but if you hand the keys to a thief, the walls literally don't matter.
Exactly.
But, we've talked a lot about cash and gold things that are highly liquid. They get melted down, they get spent, they disappear into the economy. Our final story deals with the theft of something that isn't liquid at all.
No, it isn't.
It's the theft of history itself.
Yes, we are moving far away from the highly guarded modern complexes down to a small, dilapidated, poorly guarded Chola-era Shiva temple in Sriparantan village in Tamil Nadu.
The scene here is incredibly atmospheric. Just picture a dark night in a sleepy rural village. Thieves break into this ancient, completely unprotected temple and steal several heavy, priceless stone and bronze idols.
Right.
And the absolute crown jewel of this theft is a breathtaking 11th century bronze Nataraja, a stunning depiction of Lord Shiva engaged in his cosmic dance.
And you have to realize, this wasn't a local crime ring looking to melt down the bronze for scrap.
Yeah.
The logistics of moving an ancient, heavy bronze sculpture across international borders are incredibly complex. This theft was orchestrated from the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The mastermind was a man named Subhash Kapoor.
And Kapoor wasn't hiding in an alleyway either. He was a high-end international art smuggler operating a very sleek, prestigious gallery in Manhattan called Art of the Past.
Right, he treated divine idols, objects that have been worshipped for a millennium, as basically exotic inventory for wealthy Western collectors.
Just shocking.
And to get them through customs, you can't just declare them as stolen antiquities. Kapoor forged elaborate provenance documents.
Oh, wow.
He would create fake histories, perhaps claiming an idol was purchased by a British colonel in the 1930s, long before international antiquity laws were established.
So it looks totally legal on paper.
Exactly. And using these forged papers, he managed to sell this specific 11th century Nataraja to the National Gallery of Australia for an astounding $5 million.
But the mechanics of his downfall are honestly my favorite part of all the sources we've looked at today.
It's a great story.
Because it wasn't just high-tech international policing that brought him down. It was an incredible mix of ancient pride and modern, petty revenge.
Right.
First off, Kapoor ends up crossing his girlfriend, Paramjit Kaur. And you know what they say about a scorned lover?
Oh, absolutely.
She gets furious, and she tips off U.S. Homeland Security about his entire smuggling operation, which kicks off a massive federal investigation called Operation Hidden Idol.
A fatal personal mistake on his part?
Yeah.
But an anonymous tip isn't enough to force a major museum in Australia to hand back a $5 million centerpiece.
Right, they need proof.
Exactly. Investigators needed physical, undeniable proof that the Nataraja in the museum was the exact same one stolen from that tiny village in Tamil Nadu. And that proof actually came from the 11th century.
Yes. When investigators finally examined the base of the stolen idol in Australia, they found a single word engraved into the metal: Sutamali.
Sutamali.
It was the secret signature of the ancient artisan who cast the bronze 1,000 years ago. He inscribed his own name or the name of his village right into the base.
It's amazing.
That one word, carved by a proud artist centuries ago, acted as an undeniable 1,000-year-old fingerprint, totally shattering Kapoor's forged paperwork and pulling the idol back home.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this story really represents the ultimate global commodification of faith.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
You have a sacred object, crafted with immense devotion, worshipped for a millennium by generations of villagers, suddenly violently removed. It gets stripped of its spiritual context, shipped in a crate, and turned into a sterile status symbol in a foreign museum. It took the combined forces of international law, a betrayed partner, and an ancient artist's pride to restore the balance.
So, what does this all mean? We've covered incredible ground today on this deep dive.
We really have.
We've gone from tracing the shadow supply chain of 20 tons of fake silver high in the Himalayas to the metallurgy of copper-plated doors in Kerala.
Right.
We've seen how a foggy night smash and grab in Varanasi triggered a massive political takeover, how a bank teller beat the CCTV cameras in Ayodhya, all the way to a 1,000-year-old artist's signature taking down a Manhattan smuggler.
It's a lot to take in.
And looking at all these sources together, the common thread is just glaringly obvious.
It is. I mean, temples are built to house the divine. They are architectural monuments to the highest ideals of humanity, faith, devotion, asceticism, and community.
Right.
But their accumulation of immense physical material wealth acts as an incredibly powerful magnet for the most flawed, base aspects of human nature.
Exactly. Whether it's an inside job by a trusted contractor shaving gold off a sacred door, or an international smuggling ring treating gods like living room decor, these heists strip away that aura of invulnerability we project onto these sacred spaces.
Yeah.
They remind us that no matter how divine the deity inside is, the walls, the doors, and the bank accounts are ultimately managed by very fallible mortals.
And as we've seen across centuries, mortals are always susceptible to greed.
Which brings us right back to where we started. You picture that inner peace, that profound faith when you walk into a temple. But knowing all the logistics, all the scams, all the history, it makes you wonder.
Definitely.
If the true purpose of a temple is spiritual connection, does the accumulation of massive physical wealth actually protect the deity? Or does it simply turn a house of worship into a vault waiting to be cracked?
That's the real question.
Something to think about next time you drop a coin in a donation box. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.